Yes, that chart you're looking at behind me is the XAU USD. That is gold. And about midweek, it took off like a ballistic missile. It moved up nearly 700 pips in 3 days. So is it going to the moon? Or is it going to $3,000, what some speculators suggest? Well, let's have a look at the charts and see what they tell us. Hello everyone, this is Rick Ray from rickrayfx.com. That's my website where you can go to find out more about Forex trading. So here we are again with another weekly analysis. This week starting on the 8th of July going through to the 12th of July 2024. And as always, we will look at the high impact news that's coming out this week, the profit and loss from last week's trade setups, and I will share my pending orders with you. That's the swing trade setups that I have in place for this upcoming week of trading. And I do all of this hopefully to help you make profit with your Forex trading. Before we jump in and get started with all of that, I want to remind you about this very popular free Forex trading course for beginners. This is a 10 video tutorial, and if you're just looking to get started with Forex, you don't know how to get started, you don't know if it might be a good fit for you, this would be a great place to find out. All right, just let me know that you want to join in this 10 video tutorial, the free Forex course, by sending me a message on Telegram. My ID is on the screen there at rickrayfx, and I will add you to that group and you can get started. Okay, let's have a look at the news that's coming up this week. We have a bit of news, and most importantly, the things I've highlighted there. It's our good buddy Jerome Powell. He's not speaking once this week, he's speaking twice this week. We know he loves to shake up the market. He comes out with words of wisdom about what he thinks the U.S. economy is going to do, what he thinks the global economy is going to do, what the U.S. dollar is going to do. So it's very important that we pay attention when this guy speaks. He has more control over the movement of the U.S. dollar than anybody in the world. So those two items I've highlighted for you. There are some other items that you need to be aware of. Just be sure and check forexfactory.com for your local times. All right, let's look at the profit and loss that we had from last week's trade setups. And before we look at those trades, I always like to share with you the two indexes. The first one is the US dollar index, the DXY, which is the US dollar compared with 6 other major currencies. We've been having a good bullish run, but it looks like that's finished. All right, the US dollar is making a change in direction. It has turned bearish. So that's why in the upcoming trade setups that I share with you, you will see I am bullish on the major pairs. So then the JPY basket, and as you can see, there is of course nothing to report on the JPY basket except that the Japanese yen just continues to decline. It's the same old story. This first arrow you see here was 2 weeks ago, this arrow here was last week, and this arrow here was the close on Friday. Continuing sad state of the Japanese yen. Before we look at last week's trade setups, let's just have a brief look at the weekly chart for gold. And as you can see on the 27th of November, that's when we broke above 2,000. We've tested 2,000 many times over the last several years, but that's always been a very strong line of resistance, 2,000. But then in November of last year, we broke and closed above 2,000, and it never closed below 2,000 again. For several weeks it stayed above 2,000, and then finally in February of 2024 decided to take off like a rocket. And in just 2 months, from February to April, gold moved up $440 or 4,400 pips in just 2 months. So now 2,400 has become our resistance zone. And we closed above that once, but then it fell back down, and now we are headed back towards 2,400, only being $8 or $9 away from that very strong resistance zone. It looks likely that we will break above that, but the question everyone is asking and what speculators are talking about is, can we go to 3,000? I think there's no doubt that we can go to 3,000. If gold can move $440 in 2 months, certainly within this year it can go up and hit $3,000. But time will tell. On gold XAU USD, I had a sell limit at 23.33, and you can see that opened on Monday. It went into profit of about 120 pips. Then it went back up to that 23.33 and came down again for another 120 pips on Wednesday. So early in the week, it was just a case of rinse and repeat. If you took both of those trades, you would have made about 240 pips before that massive change in direction, which we saw starting on Wednesday and carried through till the close on Friday. And then the Euro US, I had a sell limit on that one with the entry price at 1.0720, and it did execute, but if you were watching that, you could have got out at break even because that one turned bullish as the US dollar started to decline midweek. The odd US was a neutral analysis, so there was no trade on the odd US. The New Zealand US was a sell limit, and that one did turn good. It came up and hit, I gave you 2 entry points. It hit our second entry point, and from that point down to the lowest that it reached was a profit of 57 pips. Then the pound US, this was a sell limit also with the entry price at 1.2650, and that one did execute and gave us 33 pips only before everything turning around and going the opposite direction. And then the USD CAD was neutral in last week's analysis, so no trade on that one. And the UJ, of course, we can keep buying the UJ, but I had my buy limit between 160, between these two lines here, 160 and 160.50. And on Monday, it didn't quite come down there, but it did take off and set a new high for the last 35 years. All right, so if you did catch that one early in the week, you did well. But it came down on Friday and hit the entry point, this first entry point of 160.50. And then before the session closed on Friday, gave us 82 pips on the UJ. And now let's have a look at the pending orders that I have in place, the swing trade setups, which I'm going to share with you. I have, obviously, if you're aware of what happened towards the end of the week, last week, I have a buy limit on gold. Okay, gold has turned bullish. It turned bullish about Tuesday or Wednesday, and we have seen an incredible move of about 700 pips in just 3 days. If you look back here, we saw everything was bearish, but then it turned bullish. So I have a buy limit at 23.54, between 23.54 and 23.65. 23.54 is the Fibonacci line, the 0.38 Fibonacci line, and the 23.65 is the minor support level that we have. It's way above that now, closed at 23.92, 23.93. So that's a long way for it to come down. So be patient. All right, after such a big move, we are bound to get a recovery. All right, a retracement, a pullback. Will it pull back this far? Well, I don't know. All right, I don't predict what the market will do. I react to what I see. I do not have a crystal ball. All right, some people try to trade with a crystal ball. I do not try and predict the market. We can just analyze what we see and react to what we see. So a buy limit on the XAU USD with entry price between 23.54, 23.65, and you can take profit at 2,400. It is definitely going to go to 2,400. I mean, it's only 80 pips away from that now. So we are likely to even break 2,400 next week and possibly see 2,450 or even higher prices. The Euro US is also a buy limit with the entry price at 1.0810. Let that one pull back to our minor support level at 1.0810. Then the odd US is also a buy limit with the entry price at 0.6720. The blue line you see here, a minor support level. The New Zealand US is also a buy limit with the entry price at 0.6720. Now that one could pull back all the way because it's very close to the 38 Fibonacci level. So that entry price would be 0.6109. But I have my pending order set at 0.6720, just above that Fibonacci line. And the pound US, of course, a buy limit as we are bullish on all of the major pairs. This one is quite far away, but it should retrace back to our minor support level at 1.2765. On the pound US, a buy limit at 1.2765. Then the USD CAD. Well, what in the world is happening with the USD CAD? Okay, on Friday it started to make a big move up, but that was because of the bad Canadian news that came out on the Canadian economy. So the U.S. dollar moved up against the Canadian dollar, but generally the U.S. dollar is in a decline, so we should start to see continuing bearish movement. Although on the day chart it's bearish, however, on the 4-hour chart it's neutral. So be cautious with this one. I do have a sell limit with the entry price at 1.3660, but I'll be keeping my eyes on that to see whether or not it might continue because of the really bad news that came out on the Canadian economy on Friday. And then finally the UJ. What can we do? Of course, just buy. Let it retrace just a little bit. At my entry price is 160.63. That is a support level. It's just really close to that now, but we should be able to continue buying the UJ as it has already reached nearly 162. So it is very, very likely to go back and retest at least that resistance level and possibly go even higher. Okay, so that's it for this weekly analysis, and I just want to remind you about prop firm trading. Oanda has a great program, a great platform, and offers you better leverage than most prop firms that I have researched. And of course, they are a very reliable and very well-known organization. You can have a big trading account, and I've told you this before, that if you want to have a big trading account, use a prop firm. And for the time being, you can have this limited time offer. It's good for another week or so. If you want a 10K, 25K, or 50K account, you can get a 25% discount on any of these accounts. Just use the code rickray, all caps. Okay, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. Don't forget to like, love, and share this video. And be sure that you have subscribed to the YouTube channel and click that little bell so you'll be notified every time I make one of these videos, which is every Sunday for the upcoming week of Forex trading. That's it for now. I'll see you again in the next video.